empaths, chosen ones, star seeds, light workers, survivors. How are you all doing? I hope you're all well. So, here I am, walking through the woodlands of my local park. Like, share, comment, subscribe. So today, I wanted to really just talk about how you deal with narc encounters. Maybe I should start an album, a playlist called Narc 101, Narc Encounters 101. So I wanted to give my take and advice on how to recognize and navigate these encounters going forward, and give examples of situations that have happened to me. Yeah, I did say that I would do that in my first video. So here goes. One of the situations that I encountered a narc, I'm going to talk about the last situation that I encountered one. I was on the last island, on Sal Island in Cape Verde. I met this narc when I went to Santa Maria, to the town centre, one of the town centres, the coastal town centre. I met this narc. When I met this narc, he was working. I was actually walking and I was filming like I am now. And he basically jumped into my video and started promoting himself and his work in the video, which I just thought it was a bit funny, but it didn't really bother me because obviously it was for my general channel. And, you know, it's just, people will do this, won't they, as opportunists. So he did that, and that was fine. I saw him, I spoke to him, said hi, and then basically that was that. We had a little talk, just general, and then that was that. The next time I saw him and I said hi. I was walking and I recognised him at his stall. I was on another visit and I said hi to him, and he hugged me and we spoke. And it's funny because I said to him, you know, you look Jamaican, because he actually looked Jamaican. Even, you know, people that I know said to me, yeah, he looks Jamaican. So I said to him, you look Jamaican. He said, oh, many people have told me this and stuff like that. And we had a little talk. And then when I saw him, I was actually with someone. So who I was with, the person I was with stood away, and I was speaking to him for this narc for a few minutes. Very boasty, very out there sort of thing. And he basically took one look at the person that I was with and said, you need to be careful, just be careful. And sort of like was trying to warn me about the person that I was with. They had no idea who this person was. And they were sort of making it out like they were just doing it, you know, for cause for concern, just to make sure that I'm cautious about who I'm with. And that's very fine and well, but that wasn't the reason behind why his behaviour was like that, you know. But anyway, I said, yeah. And we hugged and I said bye. And that was the end of that. I didn't think I would see him again. So, anyway, spent the afternoon with the other person that I was with, walking, talking, just, you know, having engaging conversation about life and stuff. And in the evening, I was on my way back to get the collective minibus back to the town centre, Espargo, where I was staying. As I was walking back now to the collective minibus, I saw said Narc in the shop. So I waved at him and continued walking. He waved at me. Then he called me. I said to him, look, I need to get the collective bus for 7 p.m. and it's 10 to 7 now. So I don't want to miss the bus. I'm not paying €25 to get back to Espargo. So I'll see you later. I said, no, you don't have to do that. There are taxis that you can get, shared taxis, and you pay the same as the collective. I'm going back to Espargo, so we can get in that together and I'll show you. So, okay. So, sat there talking to him, or stood there talking to him. And then he asked me to come in the shop with him because he was actually in the shop and he was on the phone. And thought, okay, all right, I'll wait for a while. I'll get that taxi just to understand how this works so that the next time I'm here, I can do that by myself. And basically, he was like, oh, what do you want anything? I was like, no, it's fine. He was very insistent that I get myself a drink, I get anything I want, get alcohol, get this, get that. So I was like, okay, all right. I got some biscuits and a drink, and he was still more insistent and got me popcorn and other things and was still like, get what you want, take what you want. I was like, that is enough. Thank you. It was an insistence that I get more. And it actually made me feel a little bit uncomfortable after a while, because it's one thing for someone to be like, oh yeah, okay, do you want a drink or something like that, but when they start plying you with things and insisting that you get this and you get that, you get what you want, get this, get that, then you start to think, why and what is this coming with? What strings are attached to all of this? Yeah. So obviously got me a couple of things. I said thank you, stayed in the shop with him, and he was buying some alcohol. It looked like he drank a few beers, but he wasn't drunk or anything. And then he showed me a guy, a famous musician guy, Jamaican guy, and was like, look, we follow each other. Do you know who this is? And I was like, no, I don't actually know who this is. And he started phoning the guy. It's like, why are you phoning? Like, he wants me to speak to the guy to prove that he knows the guy. And I thought that was strange, because just, you can know famous people and that's fine, verified blue tick people, but you don't need to prove anything by calling these people with whoever you were with, because it was clear that he was just doing it to try and impress me. Thankfully, the person didn't answer the phone. And someone like that probably doesn't even run their own account anyway. He was like, yeah, I've spoken to him, this, that, and the other. We've spoken before. He came here on holiday and I took him around and yada, yada, yada. Anyway, we get into the shared collective and he pays the fare, even though I'm wanting to pay the fare for myself. He's like, no, I'll pay it. He pays the fare. We get out. We start walking down. We're walking in the same direction. And I'm walking to my apartment. And I'm used to this walk. It's about half an hour's walk and it's nighttime, but I'm fine with that. And he basically, it's him, me and his cousin, and he hails a taxi on the street. So I'm like, okay, all right, I'll see you later, bye, because I'm prepared to walk, you know. I walk a lot anyway, and I quite like to walk back to the apartment because, you know, you just get to unwind and go back. And he insists that I get in the taxi and pays the fare for me in the taxi. In the taxi, another thing that he does is he wants to exchange numbers, okay? I'm like, okay, all right. So I give him my number. We exchange numbers. He wants me to put in his name in my phone as a character, a Nintendo character. Can you believe it? A Nintendo character, yeah? And I'm like, no, I'm not putting your name in my phone like that. Yeah, this is ridiculous. But he goes by this name and he wants people to think of him. I actually think in his deluded mind, he thinks that he's this character. Well, not physically, but, you know, he feels that he's infamous like this character. So basically he wants you to call him Super, yeah, Super, not just his name but Super, which is absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, exchange numbers, and he seems pleasant enough. When we were in the shop, he said to me, oh, you know, the difference, what you find with a lot of Cape Verdeans is that they tend to be very superficial and surface level. You know, me, I'm a person, I just say it how it is. I'm just real. I'm 100% real. And I thought it was funny because a lot of people that I had met from the islands, I felt that they were superficial. And I'm not by any means saying that everyone from Cape Verde is superficial. No, I'm just saying that a lot of people that I encountered, I felt were superficial and surface level. But that could just be because I was a visitor, language, other stuff, I don't know. You know, and maybe that's their culture and the way that they are generally. It's not like Jamaicans, you know, who are just quite deep people. But yeah, he said that to me and I was quite shocked that he said that to me. I thought, wow, you know, I had thought this, but I didn't think someone from Cape Verde would actually say this to me. This is interesting. This person seems interesting. You know, although they're a little bit braggy, there's still some interesting facets about them. So he said to me on the way back that he wanted to see me that evening, not too late because he works and stuff, but you know, if he wanted to go for a walk in the evening and have a meal together in about an hour. So I was like, yeah, sure, that's fine, we can do that. So we meet in the evening, about an hour and a half after we left each other, and that was fine. He takes me to his friend's bar. Okay, so this is where it starts to get interesting. He takes me to the friend's bar. We walk, which is not far from my apartment. We walk. I didn't meet him at my apartment, by the way. I met him on the road. We walk to the bar and we meet his friend. Yeah, it's his friend's sister's bar, actually. We meet his friend. When we meet the friend, he's like, oh, tense your muscles and that, you know, tense your muscles and do this and do that. And I'm like, why is he acting like this? You know, why is he behaving like this? Basically, he's wanting me with him to impress his friend, you know. And so it just seemed strange. We saw the friend, and the friend, what I understood from their interaction and what I was told was that the narc's friend, funnily enough, had been working on Boa Vista. The narc's friend is originally from São Vicente, but lived on São for most of his life. Then he went to Boa Vista for, I think, 15 years to work, and he was doing security work. And he just come back to São Island a few days ago. So this is the second time the narc has seen his friend in 15 years. Saw him when he first came, and just that evening. I got the feeling that he was meant to meet his friend, just the two of them, but he decided to bring me along. Anyway, we do that. And basically, when we go to the bar, we meet the sister who owns the bar, and they buy some drinks. Beer, asked me if I want a beer. I said, okay, all right, one beer. I don't really drink beer like that. One beer. Then we had a few shots of grog, and all the time that we were there, we were talking. The narc was just bragging about himself. And any kind of conversation that we had always came back to the narc, you know, and the conversations were about how he was wild when they were young. If they had any conversation about their childhood and the shenanigans and antics they got up to, it always came back round to the narc. And the braggadocious talk about how he used to be wild, and you know, they used to do this, that and the other, and he used to be wild, and he used to be crazy, and then getting the friend and the friend's sister to, you know, back up his claims, substantiate his claims of how crazy he used to be, yada, yada, yada. You know, constant interrupting, having to be the centre of the show, okay? Then afterwards, we left the bar and we went to his friend's house. His friend wanted to show him where he was now living, his new place, temporary place. So we went there, and the friend, you know, it's quite clear the friend had just got there, didn't have a fridge or anything like that there at the time. It's just a basic setup, mattress on the floor, whatnot. But, you know, it's just temporary until he manages to sort himself out. So his friend bought out, you know, bread and eggs and other stuff for them to sit and eat, offered me some. I was like, no thanks, I'm all right. And then the narc, again, you know, the conversation has to be about the narc 24/7 all the time. Then the narc decides to wrestle with his friend. Like, his friend, he's clearly not built for this, yeah? He's clearly not built for any kind of wrestling. So I don't know what on earth he thought he was doing, but obviously he was doing it to just try and impress me. When the friend is clearly built like a tank, that, you know. But anyway, they had their fun and games. And then I noticed, this is what I really actually thought, wow. The narc said to his friend, yeah, anyway, it's time for me to go now. And the friend looked surprised. Like, the way that he did this goodbye was a discard. He discarded his friend, yeah. The way that he said bye, like, I'm going now, you know, was like, I could see on the friend's face, he was like, okay, you know. The But basically, me being an observer, just being the watcher, yeah, the observer, I just saw that he had had enough of impressing his friend, trying to impress his friend, and he didn't want to share me with his friend any longer. He didn't want that. He didn't want to share my time and attention with his friend. The friend was fairly nice, you know. I was speaking to them equally. But no, he didn't want that. He discarded his friend. And I sat there and watched him do that and thought to myself, what? This is your friend. This is your best friend that you told me you've known all your life. Your best friend. This is the second time you've seen your best friend in 15 years. And you discard your friend like this and just left. And I was like, wow, okay. So for me to observe all of that, that was interesting. I just observed. Anyway, he wanted us to go to a club afterwards. He took us to a club. The club said it's just guest list only, and it's fully booked in there. I said to him, I don't want to go to a club. I'm not that sort of person. And we didn't have plans to go to a club, but it's just not my type of thing. So he said to me, would you like to go to a restaurant with live music? So I said, yeah, that sounds like more of my thing. I don't mind going to a restaurant and listening to live music, maybe have some cocktails, maybe not, but you know, just a nice calm ambient environment is good for me. So we go to this restaurant. It's actually a restaurant with live music band going on, and it's quite nice. Nice place. By the time we get to the restaurant, the alcohol has gotten to him now, fully gotten to him, and he's drunk. Has more alcohol at the restaurant. It's not a pretty sight. We're there, and I'm just observing him, really. Just observing him and the way he is. Another friend of his came into the bar. He hugs the friend. He hugs the friend's girlfriend. Realised that the friend's girlfriend is British with Jamaican background, just like me. So that was nice to actually be able to speak to someone in fluent English, unbroken English, and you know, common background and everything. It was really nice. And she said to me, oh, be careful. I said to her, don't worry, I've got this. Anyway, I just observed him. You know, we danced for a bit, and then I just thought, nah, I don't even want to dance with him anymore. He's just not in full control. So I just sat there and watched him, and I could feel his friend and the friend's girlfriend watching me, watching him, you know, watching these dynamics play out. I just looked at him and I said to him, I want to go. And he actually was saying to me how he wanted to come to my apartment, or he wanted me to come to his apartment, and he wanted us to spend the night together. And I said to him, no, I'm not interested in that at all. But it was interesting to see that I knew that he wanted that, but he waited till he got into an inebriated state, after all the bravado, all of that nonsense, to then try and approach me with this, yeah? But it was, by the time he's so inebriated with the alcohol, he was able to show me exactly who he was and what he was about, yeah? I just said to him, listen, I'm not interested, yeah? Just call me a taxi and I'm going back to my apartment alone. okay? So, held me a taxi. I got in the taxi and I left. And I left. He was then calling me and messaging me, and afterwards he sent me a video. I don't know, about 15-20 seconds long, talking about, oh, you left me and there's traffic all along the road. He's not in the video, there's just traffic all around the road. It's quite clear that he's really just drunk, you know. I didn't do anything to disrespect you. You left me. Didn't even reply. Yeah, did not reply until I was just going to bed and just said, thanks for this evening. Have a good night. Yeah. He phones me the next day asking me, saying I was really drunk last night. I was really drunk. Did I do anything to disrespect you? I said, no, you didn't. I know you was drunk, but no, you didn't. I left before you could do anything to disrespect me. So then he says to me that he wants us to meet that day in the evening for a meal. Would I like to go for a meal? I was thinking, this is strange. After your behaviour, you want to have a meal with me? This is crazy. But I thought, all right, okay. Phone me later. Let me know what you want to do. So he says, yeah, phone you later. So I'm just doing what I'm doing. Went out, came back. I had work that day, I believe. So I was working. And then he doesn't contact me until the evening, the night, to tell me that it's not, you know, we can go out tomorrow or something. I said, yeah, that's fine. The next day, he messages me and says to me, meet me in Santa Maria. Meet me at my workplace at 1:30 so we can have lunch. Not, are you busy? If you're not busy, we can meet or anything. No, just that entitlement, that expectation. Meet me at 1:30. It's like, no, I can't. I didn't actually message him at all. I just thought, what? Who are you to be telling me and dictating what I should do with my time? Yeah, I know English is not your first language, but you don't speak to people like this, yeah? And so I didn't reply. And then he was like, oh, why are you ignoring me? Why won't you answer me? You know, that whole sad face emoji, all of that. Didn't reply until much later and just said, not going to be able to make it tomorrow. Have a nice day though. And I didn't hear from him for 2 days. So there you go. That's the discard and the silent treatment that happens. After they make a demand and you say no, then the discard and the silent treatment occurs, okay? So didn't hear from him. And then he started calling me in the night time. And I'm talking like almost 11 o'clock at night. 2 times calling me. Just blocked him after that. I just blocked him because I remember him saying that he doesn't really like to be up late because of work and XYZ. And then he's calling me in the middle of the night. But all of the signs were there. You know, the sense of entitlement, you know, the whole love bombing thing of plying me with gifts, give goods and everything, you know, and trying to make me feel comfortable with him and to make it seem like he's a good person, you know, trying to be that sort of attentive person. Oh, you know, me take you out, let's go for a walk, let's go for a meal, XYZ, you know. Then there's the whole bragging, you know, me, which is what they're all about. They need the attention, they need the validation. I saw all of that. I saw him discard his own friend, his longest friend. I saw that, you know, and I saw him show his true colours. Narcissists, yeah, you give them alcohol, as long as they're not violent, yeah, if they're not violent and you give them alcohol, they will show you exactly who they are and what their agenda is. It will just come out. It will come out, trust me. You won't need to coax it out. It will come out. You will see it. So I saw all of that. I saw him try to deflect his own reckless and irresponsible behaviour, play the victim with, oh, Natasha, you left me, why did you leave me, you know, and stuff, and then calling me and asking me if he disrespected me. Like, why are you asking me this? Why are you asking me this? You should know, you know, and asking me is like throwing the responsibility onto me to know for your actions, to, you know, to have a record, keep a record of your actions and what you did, you know. And then the entitlement of expecting my time and attention. Right, okay, come and meet me, you know. First it was, oh yeah, we'll meet on the Monday, the next day, and then didn't do what he said. Because, you know, one thing about narcissists is that they are consistently inconsistent, and that pattern of behaviour showed. And basically, you know, I saw the whole, oh, call me Super M, you know, he wants to be called Super. It's not even the name, the proper name. Super is what matters to him, you know. Wants to be in charge, wants to show how flamboyant he is, how noble and self-righteous he is compared to others, because they think that they're grandiose and better than others. So they'll try to show that. He played the victim, you know, and when I said no, say no to a narcissist, say no, trust me, say no. It's not when you say yes that you get to know them, it's when you say no. When I said no, he did a discard or silent treatment, whatever you want to call it. I got it for a few days because I said, no, I'm not coming to meet you. And that's the thing. When you tell them no, they don't like it. And they don't take no nobly and gracefully. So I saw that as well. And then calling me in the night, late at night, like, he knows that I work. Why are you calling me at this time? Entitlement to time and attention and energy. So that was that. I just got fed up of him and I just blocked him. And as I was leaving the island, really wasn't any worries about bumping into him. But this guy was a narcissist, attention seeking, grandiose, thought he was better than anyone else, you know, at least better than his fellow Cape Verdeans. And he played the victim and he lacked empathy. When I saw him discard his friend, his longest friend, I knew he doesn't have any empathy whatsoever. And also, you know, feeling that they only want to associate with people they think are special, basically. You know, the whole braggadocious, oh, look, I know this blue tick person on Insta, let me phone them, let me show you, all of that, you know. So you get to know them and recognize them if you look out for the signs. And it's easier when you're not as attracted to them, you know. there is a charm to them, that there is a magnetism and charm about them. But you can be attracted to them, but if you're not lusting after them, it's easier to see. It's easier to spot if you know what you're looking for. And I knew what I was looking for. And thankfully, I was able to energetically discard him and not get involved in that loop. So that's the saga of that situation. That was that. That was the narc in Sal that I met. And that was how it went down. And that was how it ended. And I left. And I left before he could drain me. Drain my energy, drain my time, attention and energy. Once I felt like I'd seen enough, that was it. I knew he was not going to be seeing me again. You know, once I'd seen enough of his behaviour and I saw that it was a pattern, that was enough for me. Goodbye, you know. So watch out for the signs. They'll show you who they are. Let them show you who they are. Don't rush anything. Take your time. And if they want to try and charm and love bomb you and ply you with gifts and things, just know that there's an emotional invoice for this. There will be an invoice. It's not for free. It's not from the goodness of their hearts. But as I said, be the observer. Let spirit inside you be the watcher, the observer of what is happening of people, and let them show you who they are. Don't reveal too much about yourself, and let them show you who they are, and all will be revealed. So that's it, folks. Like, share, comment, subscribe, and remember, we're going from surviving to thriving. Warriors are what we are. See you soon.